it's like a deliberate thing. Like you have to, I think you have to make a decision, right? You have to go, okay, I can let this thing overwhelm me, or I can do something different. I'm going to remain authentic, but I'm just going to I'm just going to accept. I'm going to lean into this moment and just let this moment be what this moment is, and know that no matter what happens, I'm going to ride this storm out. And if the storm takes me, then the storm takes me. When you're holding on to your true purpose, sometimes it may feel like you're falling, but like if you hold on, like at that last moment, it's like the miracle occurs.
Right before you hit the ground, dude, you get scooped up every single time.
Resilience isn't about never falling. It's about getting back up every single time. In today's episode, we're breaking down what it really means to be resilient. We'll share personal stories, hard-learned lessons, and the mindset shift that can help you push through even the toughest moments. By the end of this conversation, you'll have a new perspective on overcoming obstacles and finding strength in adversity. Welcome to the Crack the Code podcast. I'm your host, Clint Baggett, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Shannon Baggett and Shane Russell, aka the Hood Hippie. And we hope that you're having a great week wherever you're at. Today, we want to talk about resilience. And to really dig into that, we need to understand, what is resilience?
The definition of resilience is the ability to withstand, adapt to, and recover from difficult or challenging situations. It involves not only enduring hardships, but also growing and learning from them. Resilience allows individuals to bounce back from setbacks, maintain a positive outlook, and continue pursuing goals despite obstacles. It's often thought of as inner strength or mental toughness that helps people cope with stress, change, adversity, and trauma while finding ways to move forward. What do you think about that, Shane?
No, I love that. Like, it's pretty much the story of my life. One of my greatest mentors ever once told me that I was one of the most resilient people that he's ever met. Brent, if you're watching, Brent, but resilience is everything, like life happens to us all and things happen as, work out differently than we planned. And sometimes we make bad choices, we have bad luck, and but we have to white knuckle it. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, one thing that was interesting to me about that definition, and you're so right, Shane, like resilience is about, like sometimes we have to get through it. There's a part in there, Shannon, maybe if you could reiterate again, like where it's talking about the ability to maintain a positive outlook. What was that line right there? Read that line again.
Do it.
Resilience allows individuals to bounce back from setbacks, maintain a positive outlook, and continue pursuing goals despite obstacles.
Yeah, it's that sentence right there. Like, in a way, it kind of sounds like resilience. Like, if you have resilience, then things don't bother you and you can maintain a positive outlook and it's just all hunky dory. But that's not actually what experiencing resilience is like, at least not from my experience. And Shane, you can, we've talked a lot about this and you can share more from your experience. But like, when you're utilizing resilience, it's not necessarily like all roses and candy. Like, it's tough, it's hard, and that's that mental toughness part. And the maintaining a positive outlook isn't like it just comes easy. It's like a deliberate thing. Like, you have to, I think you have to make a decision, right? You have to go, okay, I can let this thing overwhelm me, or I can do something different, right? Would you, what, from your experience, like how do you feel resilience shows up for you, Shane?
No, I totally agree. Like, a lot of it has to do with mindset, like we, like the mindset that you go into it is paramount. But back to Shannon's definition, like rebounding, like I've hit the bottom so many times, like I've dribbled, and to be able to just hang on no matter what. even sometimes by your fingerprints, and know no matter what that you're going to be okay. Like faith and, believing in what you're created to be and what you're raised to be, and, and just being who you should be. And, you know, to be able to stay in that zone, it helps you overcome, like it's a roller coaster ride. There's always going to be dips and dives, but it's going to go back up, and we just got to hang on. I mean, that's what I've experienced so
So,
far.
yeah, it's kind of like I hear you saying like there's almost like an element of faith to it, right? Like
Totally.
you have to decide that you can get through it. You have to know or believe or hold on beyond hope that, like and I know like I think for me like that resilience like that it didn't come by just like me having this wisdom going, oh, everything's going to be okay. Like I feel like where it started for me was realizing that there was no other decision but to hold on, right? I knew I was going to have to hold on if I was going to survive. And through that, you start to develop resilience. And then as you continue to go through challenges in your life, you can kind of lean back on that resilience as it develops. So it's an interesting thing, to talk about because like if you're going to develop resilience, does that mean that you have to go through like a really hard time? Or is there another way to develop resilience? I don't know, Shannon, like what do you think? Do you think resilience is something that you earn through the virtue of survival, or is it something that you think you might be able to just, I don't know, train or develop?
Well, I think there's, you know, physical resilience, which would probably just, be more of athletes who push themselves to the limit, who are going to have days where like physically their body can't do it, but they keep pushing through with the training and they hit their goal. Like that's to me like physical resilience. But I think overall resilience is probably in the broader scheme of things, it's just like it's a mental thing.
It is, to your point, Shannon, like those people that push themselves to be athletes or whatever, like it takes discipline and focus, it's a choice that we have, like what we're going to focus on. And, like we can focus on all of the negative, which we all have, or we can focus on the positive, despite how subatomic it might be.
Yeah, I
Right.
don't I don't think that all resilience necessarily comes from like a negative place. I think, any sort of obstacle in your way, whether it's like, detrimental or not, is going to push you as long as you're moving forward past the obstacle and you're overcoming it. That is resilience. So I think there's like a whole spectrum of resilience. Although, I think it's everything from like you get knocked down and you get back up again to
Totally.
you get knocked down, but you keep moving forward, even if that means like you're crawling on all fours.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, like the Navy SEALs that do what they do for us all, like don't just like get there from eating potato chips on the couch. You know what I'm saying? Like there's like to level
Right.
up. Yeah, to level up in our lives, it takes resilience, It takes overcoming things. It takes figuring things out and, you know, and, you know, like it's the resistance really that perpetuates us. I mean, what do you think, Glenn?
Yeah, there's this author Chris Voss, and he wrote the book called Never Split the Difference. And although it's not exactly the same thing, he talks about like, in negotiation, you will fail to your highest level of preparation. And I feel like there's a bit of that like that's similar with this like resilience. And to your point, it's like Navy SEALs, like they know that when they're in it, when they get in the moment and they got to do the thing, that they're going to need to be resilient, right? They're going to need to be able to focus. They're going to need to be able to communicate. So they train and they practice and they prep themselves so that they are resilient, so that they can maintain their commitment. And I think that maybe for a lot of people, the first time you experience the need to be resilient, and this is what I think happened in my experience, is like there was no other choice. I was just like, suddenly I had to be there, and it was be resilient or perish, right? But from that, what I learned was that, wow, I don't ever want to feel that weak again, right? Like I don't want to feel unprepared. And so, I like to develop my mental toughness. I like to train. I like to, I get up every morning and I practice how to move my mindset into alignment and how to, let go of distractions and, self-limiting beliefs. And sometimes it does feel like a daily practice, and sometimes it feels like a little bit of a grind. And, rest is part of that. Like part of being resilient is learning how to rest and restore your energy and give yourself a break at the right time and reward yourself for the good work that you do and be proud of your accomplishment. All of this plays into what develops, resilience. And it's like, I'm trying to think, like, it's like resilience is almost like a measurement of your preparation in a way, or a measurement of your commitment if needs be. But like, how do you hang on, and how do you, connect? Like, I guess, what are some like examples of what helped you be more resilient in times of duress? Do you have anything like that you could share?
Oh man, that's such a good question. For me personally, I've walked away and overcome so many things. It's like ridiculous. But at some point, I realized, when there was nothing left but like of me, but like a smoking hole where ego once was,
Yeah.
I realized that it's bigger than me, and it's about like those counting on me, and those that love me, and those that I love, and those deserving, and those that I can. And so for me, being that it's just a miracle, I mean, it was a miracle to have been created, but it's a miracle that I've survived. And and to be able to like flourish out of the manure of some of the mistakes and just life shit that happens for the benefit of, like, at the minimum, like, y'all and my family, like my sacred circle, like resilience, like hang on, or it's bigger than us. It's about y'all, like, like
Yeah. So I hear a bit of like in that moment where the moment feels overwhelming, you were able to tap into those things that help you realize that life's bigger than the moment, and that you're not committing. It's not about success in that moment. Sometimes it's about maybe even survival, just existing, just persisting through that moment because there is something better, and accepting that, like, yeah, this moment may suck, but the next moment's going to be better, and the next moment.
and
And
also the intention of every moment that we're going into, the mindset is important
yeah,
too, and we have a
yeah,
choice there to make. What do we want to focus on when we're focusing on anything, and then how are we, what is our mindset going into whatever situations we're faced with. I mean, always this is going on, and always we have that choice,
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I curious because I feel like, you talking about that, you're talking about a time when you were resilient, but I'm wondering, what do you think? I mean, it sounds like optimism, like you're such a positive, optimistic dude. Like, do you think that was sort of like the reason you were able to like persevere, or do you think is your ability to like adapt to that change, or what do you think played like the biggest part in that for you?
That's a really good question, Shannon. Surprisingly.
What do you mean surprisingly?
I knew you'd catch that. Anyway, so like, yeah, like mindset, super positive, okay, super optimistic. like just naturally positive, like because you can't stop the shine. You know what I'm saying? You just can't. And also, but there was times, multiple times in my life that I had to dig deep, real deep, like, and find like God within myself to overcome the debauchery and the debacle that I had created or that had just manifested in conjunction of what I created, like sometimes just, perfect storm. But in a weird way, at least for me, every single thing that I have put myself through and or gone through had to happen because all of that had to happen so that what is happening can be able to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like faith in the face of adversity, right? Because
I mean,
I'm,
what
I'm
else are we gonna do? What else can
y-
you do?
yeah. Well, I'm thinking like for the people listening, like, you are an extremely resilient person. Like, I've known you for years and seen the things that you go through. And I think it's one reason why like I feel so comfortable talking about the challenges I go through with you too, because like I know you get it. Like, yeah, you've been in the grind, you've had, you've been in the pain and the pressure of it, and you know what it's like to push through and come out the other side and against all odds. And like, you know, for people who are listening out there that might be going through like a really hard time, or just they're like, fuck this, I want to give up. And pardon my language, but screw it. This is YouTube. So, who are just like, this is a hard life, and like, and I don't know if I can take it anymore. And I don't know if I can do it. Like in that moment, right? If there was something that you could say to those people, what would like, what would you tell them? Like, how would you encourage them to get through? Does that make sense?
I mean, I believe our purpose and meaning and mission is to bear our fruits for the life around us. And we've been somehow socialized to forget the importance of our value. And our value, although our self worth is extremely important, like our real value is what we can offer to everybody else. And I always say this, and I'll always say this, you know, when we shine each other, we all grow. And like, you can't stop the shine. We don't own the shine. Nobody can take the shine from us. You know what I'm saying? And if we just shine, and if we just keep that grounded, central, upright, righteous, you know, pathway, it's all about finding that path. As
Yeah.
you know,
There's a
you
lot of
know,
integrity in that, right? There's a lot of you saying, this is who I am, and I'm here in this world to be a benefit, and to tap into that divine nature that created me, right? That grows the fingernails and
yeah.
grows the hair, and that created the universe and the life, and like recognizing that you're part of that something bigger, right? And if you're part of that something bigger, then you're part of something bigger than the moment that you're going in, and that is that kind of like your anchor, your tie-in, right? That your catalyst, or maybe that to help you pull through that moment.
Yeah, totally. I mean, to like, you know, even okay, like Jesus, like even like I'm a classic lit fanatic, like read the greatest books ever. Okay, so even if we took the Bible in a literary sense and we took Jesus out of it as a fictitious character, like it's just about love, and it's about loving what's bigger than us. And when you let go of yourself and love that, um, I think that's where it's at. And I really believe like, you know, Esther Hicks, and there's so much out there that shines light on this. But, you know, when you let go and let God or whatever you want to call it, or and you just go that pathway, I call it monk mode. Um, it seems like that's when the doors open. We have to find our way there in order to be able to. It's the only sustainable way, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking like as you're talking about that, it just, reflecting on my own personal experience, and I totally feel like everything you're saying, and I'm asking myself that question too, like what are those key pivotal moments that help me get through and really become resilient? And I realize one of them, it's interesting, it's kind of surrender, right? There's a
Yes,
moment where there's like pain and the pressure, and I'm just like, I don't know if I can do this, and it's like I'm trying to talk myself into it and like judge myself, but then finally I just go, you know what, maybe I can't do it. And there just comes this point where I just go, you know what, I'm going to let go, and I'm going to
totally,
let go of the struggle, right? I'm not going to let go of the
totally,
dream. I'm not going to
and
give
just
up.
go with the flow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know where I'm going, and what I'm doing is what I'm doing, and I'm gonna be who
the
I am. I'm gonna
intention.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
remain authentic, but
totally,
I'm just gonna accept. I'm gonna lean into this moment and just let this moment be what this moment is, and know that no matter what happens, I'm gonna ride this storm out. And if the storm takes me, then the storm takes me. But if it doesn't take me, as soon as I get out on the other side, I'm gonna be right back on track.
totally, dude. And to throw like a poetic like angle into it, like think about a diamond, right? It's formed under like total darkness, total heat, total pressure, and then you pull it out, and it's the hardest thing ever. I mean, I don't have
Yeah,
anything to compare it to. And, but also, when you go back to the shine, the light, which is all about, and which what we're all about, the diamond
yeah.
creates a full spectrum and magnifies the light after coming from the heat, pressure, darkness. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Yeah, where no light is, and
Yes,
under immense amounts of pressure, then
yes,
it can be drawn out and refined, yeah, and then expand and reflect light in beautiful ways, even though it was
totally.
created with no light whatsoever. Yeah, it is amazing. It's a beautiful analogy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Shannon, what
I
do you think?
I think y'all are a bunch of hippies. I'm sitting over here going like, no. You're in the middle of something that's trying to push you down. You say, this is bullshit, and I'm not gonna fucking take it. And then you fight with all you have till you get to the other
I mean, that too, man. Like
side.
Yeah.
shining like a diamond, but super hard now. Like I'm just
Yeah.
hard. I've been hardened. A lot of it was
Yeah.
self-inflicted. A lot of it, like happened. Life happens to us all, and we all make mistakes. But in a weird way, it's those, it's all of that that has happened that helps us get to where we're supposed to go. So what
Yeah.
can happen. It just
Yeah,
is.
I'm teasing. I'm teasing you guys a little
No, I know
bit.
you.
It's
Well, no,
yeah.
I'm
I think
developing
there's
resilience from that comment right there.
you're right. Yeah, you're gonna get a thick skin.
But you're right though. Like it is surrendering, but it's also sometimes like sometimes it's standing up and going, no, I'm not going to take that crap. I'm not going to take that, and I am going to fight. Like that's equally as much part of it. Like what I'm saying. Like I've experienced both.
Yeah, I think we all have. I think just how you react to any situation is just going to depend on the situation. Some
Yeah,
things you will just have no control over, and it's not going to really hurt you to just go with the flow and just see what happens. It's going to be super uncomfortable, and the potential to hate every minute of it is there, but you can still end up fine on the other side. And
well,
then,
yeah,
sometimes you do have to just, you have to fight. Like we wouldn't have um so many of like our freedoms if like we weren't willing to stand up for like the smaller guy, or whether
It's
we're
the
the smaller
resistance.
guy. Yeah,
hundred
It's
percent.
the
Yeah.
resistance. Yeah, that
so I think there has, yeah.
perpetuates us.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, like it makes me think, Shane, what you were saying about intention. If it's not just about surrendering and it's not just about fighting, but it's about doing the needful when the moment arises. And if the moment is, if the moment calls for surrendering to forces that are bigger than you, that's what you do. But if it also calls for standing up and fighting and being strong, like that's what you do. And sometimes maybe those are the same thing. I think you're right. I think it comes back to intention, right? Like it's about going like, look, I'm going to head that direction and I know what I want, and I want to be free. I want to be successful. I want to be happy. I want to be healthy. And I'm willing, to do whatever it takes to get to that point.
And in my experience, like when you have the right intention and you do everything that you just said, if you look at like, I'm sure you all remember the movie Friday with with Ice Cube, and I got drunk with Ice Cube one night, but that's another story. Anyway, Ice
Name drop.
Cube when Ice Cube beat up Debo in Friday over that girl. I don't know if y'all remember what I'm talking about, but anyway, huge dude and Ice Cube like beat him up. In my life, every single time that I've really needed it, like it's like the Holy Spirit's been at the wheel and I've been like in bubble wrap, like bulletproof. I don't know,
Yeah.
man.
Well,
Like my
we've talked about that too, like that when you're holding on to your true purpose, sometimes it may feel like you're falling, but like if you hold on, like at that last moment, it's like that the miracle occurs.
right
You know what I
before you
mean?
hit the ground, dude, you get scooped up every single
Yep.
time.
Yeah, I've seen it with so many people, and I'm like, if you have good faith and good intentions and you hold on to that and you believe, like, hang in there. It might be a wild ride, but you'll get through it.
Yeah, and really at the end of the day, it's all about the ride. It's joyride. We have to
Yeah.
enjoy the ride. I mean, just as what it is, ups and downs, but more ups are coming regardless of the downs. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think to an extent too, we've kind of talked a couple different ways of how people are resilient, but listening to you guys talk also made me think that I think sometimes it's just a matter of growth. Like either maybe you want to get out of poverty or bad situation when you're a kid, and so you just stay persistent and you get good grades and you go to college and you get a good job and you get to finally get past that obstacle that you had when you were a kid, and you do that by growing. You know what I mean? Sometimes I think you just grow so much
yeah,
that you can just step over that obstacle.
Yeah.
it's, but it's these things that help us grow. Like, I'm
Yeah.
seriously Jack the Beanstalk over here, like just climbing up the growth, like raised right, like super awesome childhood, like went out into the world, like met the wrong people and you know kind of lost everything, and then like started from ground zero, built it all back up, and like lost it again, and did it a couple of times, like just burnt the whole thing down, and all the way up to, I don't know, like a little bit before COVID, like my whole family, everything just just blew up, and I had the greatest success of my life and my career, like everything, just like a lot of things happened, and then um, I trying to just regroup from, I had like I was almost killed in a car accident, and like took me like 6 months to learn how to walk straight again, and then COVID hit, and then like I kind of got started again, and then got mixed up with the wrong person and gave them every single penny that I had, and like didn't have a car, or like end up losing my job, and like just ended up with just my family in the middle of nowhere for like a year. And it took me a little while to realize like blessings come in painful surprises sometimes, and like all of the stuff that had happened, like I needed it to happen so that I could get back to my people, get back to my roots, to be the person I was raised to be and the person that I was created to be and that I can be, so that what is happening can happen. And in that part, dude, I just got like the greatest job ever. And 3 weeks ago, moved, just got a car, and my hound and I like moved to Chicago, and I got here on the Tuesday. I'm gonna extend the stay and started like the coolest job ever on Wednesday, and like my whole life totally changed after losing everything. And for me, I had to lose everything to find it all. You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about? Yeah,
Yeah, right. You had to hang on. You had to be resilient through
yeah,
that transition so that you could come out the other side and, enjoy that magic.
totally. And it's so cool because I mean, I don't know. The job I have is like the coolest job ever. And like, I'm able to take care of my kids and like just all like, no matter what happens at this point, I mean, as far as like career and moving forward and everything else, like I made it, like, you know, and
Yeah, I think that.
after every,
Oh, good.
no, just after everything that happened, like, like this last year, literally, I applied at 1,000 jobs and I had like 100 interviews. Literally, I'm not exaggerating. This is downsizing the whole situation. And then all of a sudden, to like finally get something, and then like, oh my gosh, like 3 days later, I have to like move to a new city and like, just start a whole new, and it's working. It's awesome. And on top of that, I have other stuff pending somewhere else even better. But
Yeah.
I can't really speak on that right now. But um
Yeah, when it
so
rains, it pours, right? Like it
it
feels like you go
does.
through a drought, but if you're resilient and you hang on, like yeah, then the break comes, and when the break comes, it's usually like beautiful. Like you get you have that breakthrough, and you're on the other side, and like all of a sudden things start going work, and you realize that the trouble, the trial, and this I think Shannon talking about growth, right? Like that growth that you went through, though it was hard and difficult, you're strong, you're ready, you're more focused, you're
Hell
more
yeah.
prepared. And potentially, if you would have had the same opportunity prior to that growth period, you may
It
have
wouldn't have
been
happened.
less prepared for it,
No,
right?
that probably wouldn't happen, dude.
Yeah.
This is all happening because of all that happened. So
Yeah.
the only way,
Yeah.
and then also just a side note, like at some point I had to like regroup and kind of like take inventory of like what's really important, and the window's closing, like, midlife, and
Yeah.
and so I'm very discriminating and particular at this point at with whatever I do with my time and whomever I do it with on any front, career, like podcasts, like whatever, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
but the people at this point, you know, my dad told me my whole life, like, son, at the end of your life, you're gonna be lucky if, outside of your family, if you have more than 5 people, that really matter. Like, and I was always like, I'm so popular, there's no way. Like, okay, he's right. And the people that have been filtered through that are in my sacred circle at this point, like y'all, uh, that I've that I've instead of like wasting time on all these people and all these things that don't matter, like just sticking with the people like that have been time tested and their actions have spoken and time has revealed who they really are. Like, just gonna, y'all have helped me like stay on the rails and keep inching up and on and forward every single day. And I appreciate you guys. Just want to throw
Oh,
that out there.
likewise, man.
Well,
Yeah,
thank
and
you.
yeah, absolutely. That goes both ways, right? Like, we've all been going through things that have had to, that have tested our resilience. Like, me making the shift from, corporate management to, owning our own business, and even, the further shift, starting this community. I mean, it's a big leap of faith. And there are times where you have to be resilient and just hang on, and it's difficult, and you're like, oh my god, how's this all going to work out? But you just hold on it. And I even think, like, in the idea of innovation, right? That I think sometimes people think like somebody gets one great idea and that's how innovation starts. But like in all my experience, like innovation is a result of resilience. Innovation is going,
Totally.
okay, how do I overcome this problem? I'm going to try something. Okay, that didn't work. I'm going to try something else. That didn't work.
Yep.
Okay, that's a little better. I know a little bit more now. Now I'm going to try something else. And it's just like
The
that
scientific
dogged
method.
approach, yeah, of going, I'm going to keep trying new things until I find the thing that works, And
I
for
mean,
as to
your
your
eyes
point,
open. You don't have a
yeah,
choice.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, what else are you
exactly,
going to do? I mean,
yeah, yeah. And so you find the thing that works. You find the people that keep you strong.
totally.
That it is that to Shannon's point, it is that growth, right? That growth, commitment to it. That I'm going to find what works. It it makes you stronger. It teaches you. And it prepares you. Like, and it's an amazing thing. Like, so resilience is like it is part of that growth process. It is part of that just believing in yourself um and just not
And
being willing to. Yeah, go ahead.
surrounding yourself with the right people. And,
Yeah.
and, and it goes back to, again, the choice, like all the way down to like, you know, what I listen to every day, like Bob Marley or whatever. I listen to stuff that like makes me feel good. I talk to people that like bring out my best and I bring out their best. It's symbiotic, and it's synergetic to get on all of these fronts. We have choices that we can make, and we have a choice, and we have to focus on the myriad of choices that are presenting themselves to us at every single moment of our lives. But if we can focus and realize that time is an illusion and the window's closing and this is a miracle, like, you know, and really invest ourselves in ourselves for each other, like there's something there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's powerful, and I'm thinking, for anybody out there listening, like, if you're in that pinch moment, just hold on, right? Just hang in there.
Yeah,
Let go of the stuff that's not helping you. Pay attention to the stuff that is and hold on. And
totally.
maybe if you're not in the pinch moment and maybe you've got the moment behind you or you feel like there's a moment ahead, you know, heed the wisdom that's coming out of this, right? For people that have survived a lot in the past 4 or 5 decades, and that what got us through and kept us going, like these are the things we're sharing. It's why, we've worked together to build the Evolving Mindsets community. I mean, sometimes people ask me like, well, what is this community? And it's like, it's not like what other stuff. It's not like, how to train your dog or anything like that. It's a resilience community. It's a growth community. It's a community for people who want to find their path and move
And
forward
evolve their mindset.
and evolve their mindset. Yeah, so that they can become more resilient, so that they can
Totally.
attain what it is that they're wanting to accomplish. And we know from experience that while you're going through that growth, it's hard. And one of the best things to, like you said, the people you surround yourself with when you're
We can
going.
help each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're going through that tough moment, you want to know that you can tap the line and go, "Hey, I'm going through a hard moment. Is anybody else out there?" Like I was just on a call a couple hours ago with talking with more people from the community, and that's what we were doing, right? We're just talking about like, hey, this is where I'm at in life, and I'm kind of facing this thing, and sometimes just these simple reflections from a friend who gets it and understands it's like that will remind you and go, hey, I know it feels really hard, and you're not wrong. What you're going through is hard, but do you understand how amazing you are? Do you understand how powerful
Yeah.
you
We're
are?
extraordinary and
Yeah,
so
like
valuable.
you know, I
Yeah.
I love the saying, like, remember, if you're out on a limb, you were the one brave enough to go there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you might feel like you're out on a
Yeah.
limb, but it took courage to get out on that limb. It took something special to put you in that position to fight that challenge. And I very much believe that that the universe, I'll say it, or God doesn't give us a challenge that we're not capable of overcoming, right? And so if
Totally.
you're faced with a really hard time, it's almost in a weird kind of backwards way like an honor, right? Like,
It
you're
is.
faced with that hard time because hell, you're the one strong enough to deal with it. You just need to recognize that in
Exactly.
yourself, right?
Yeah, what doesn't kill you
Totally.
makes you stronger.
Yeah.
Totally. And being that at this point I have more lives than a herd of cats, like there's an S
Mhm.
on the chest over here. I'm just saying. Like Caped
Right.
Crusader business going on, you know? And again, like we all have such important, significant, intentional value to the fabric of creation. And to be able to see that and the miracles that it is and that we are, and to believe in the importance of our manifestation in the scheme of things. It's like there are people, like every single one of us has something that other people need, and every single other people have something that we all need. There are common denominators in there. There's sustenance in each of us that each of us need, and we can feed each other and you know help each
Yeah.
other up. You know,
Well, Shannon and I were literally, what was it, not even an hour ago, talking about the jigsaw thing, and we were quoting you, right? We're like, it's like Shane was saying, it's like we're all jigsaw puzzles, and like we're all part of the picture, right? And we all connect in a beautiful way. And when we can find out those ways that we connect, we become we more of the bigger picture becomes understandable, right? We start to show and demonstrate, and so it's just like jigsaw pieces coming together. As we come together, we paint a bigger picture.
yeah, like we're all pixels on the screen, and our job is to be the color that we are and all of the hue and to shine as brightly as we can. And if each of us were to do that, the whole spectrum and the image of creation would be optimal. And
Yeah.
but resilience is an important factor of being able to hang on because it's bigger than us. It's just,
Yeah.
and so back to the whole like Jesus analogy, like, you know, even metaphorically speaking, uh, I was taught that I can bear the weight and I can take the beating because of love. It's all about love. We were called to love.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Right. It makes me think too. These are, and I would say, I think that I can say, at the time of this recording, in life, and potentially for anybody hearing this, it may be true in the future too, that these are challenging times and there are big changes going
Totally.
on. And there's a lot of stuff that maybe we don't agree with or don't understand. And it feels threatening and it feels hard, and or maybe you're on the other side of it and it feels like nothing's wrong. Well, that's okay. If that's where you're at, then that's fine. But for some people, like, the change is difficult, and we got to figure out how to adjust to it, and not not just adjust to it, but not be thrown off by it, right? Like whatever your mission is, whatever your purpose is, whatever your passion, your love is, like that's where you're going to find your resilience. This is what I find is key for me, is that I can't be resilient about something I don't really believe in, or I don't really commit to. And that's why,
Totally.
like, I don't focus my time and energy into something that I don't have full faith in, that I don't feel really connected to and really passionate about, because essentially it's just going to be a waste of time, right? And so, because I know that when the moment comes and my resilience is tested, that I need to believe in this thing with my whole heart. I need to understand what purpose it serves for me and why. And like you were saying, like understanding the bigger picture. Is it about my family? Is it about love? Is it about passion? Is it about connection? What is it that makes me wants to live beyond this pain, and live through the challenge, and not just survive it, but I think, and this is to Shannon's point, like to make a difference, and that might
Yeah.
require that I hang on for a minute, and that when the time is right, I stand up and I speak my voice and I fight and I stand proud, or I do
Be
whatever I
the
need to do.
example.
But
Yeah.
if I don't make it to that moment where it's my time, then that thing is lost. So it's got to be something that's worth it to you, right?
Yeah. Love is worth it to me. I know that.
Yeah. Shannon's right. We are hippies.
We are indeed. Shannon, when Clinton and
But
I
don't
went
let her fool
to,
you. She's a hippie too.
I know she is because she's married to one.
Yeah.
Shannon, when Clinton and I went to the Texas Eclipse Festival last April, whatever, this dude from Japan was there, and I was wearing a cowboy hat as I always do, and he was like, "I never thought that I'd have to come to Texas to meet a cowboy hippie." I was like, "What? What? What?"
Where
But
else are you gonna meet one?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I took it as a compliment. I'd never even thought of such thing as a cowboy hippie until he said that. But anyway,
Pretty funny. Yeah. Cowboy hippie. Embrace it. Embrace it.
Well, he is. He's the hood hippie.
a little bit, or maybe a lot. But
Yeah.
yeah, so good things are happening, you guys. I mean, I have a good poem that I just wrote that kind of summarizes like my current position, perspective, and situation regarding all this. Like, I'll nutshell it in a poem whenever it's that
Yeah.
time. But
Yeah. No, I love that. And I think that would be great. I mean, this has been a great conversation. And, for anybody out there, if you are having a hard time, if you're hearing this, if you're still listening at this moment, it's not an accident, right? Come to check us out, www.evolving-mindsets.com. Drop into the community. If you don't, don't worry. There's a free trial. You can come check it out. Come connect with us. There's links. You can schedule a one-on-one with me. You can drop into a community call with us. And don't go through it alone. That's I think one of the most important things is I think a lot of times we suffer alone and we don't have to. That's why we built the community. That's what we're here for. We want to see you successful. We want to be successful with you. And we understand that to find that true passionate success that's really rewarding in your life, there's going to be some growth and you're going to need some resilience and you don't have to do it alone. So, come check it out. Come hang out with us.
let's team
We'd
up.
love to have you.
Let's team up.
Yeah, we're here for
Team.
you. So with that, Shannon, do you have quotes ready for us today?
I do.
All right, and then after, go ahead and read those quotes off, and then Shane, if you get your poem ready, like you said, then we'll let you close this out as usual with one of your beautiful prayerful poems you offer for us.
All right.
All right. Oh my gosh, there's so many good ones. Here. Nelson Mandela says, "Do not judge me by my success. Judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again."
Powerful, love it.
Yeah. Confucius says, "Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall."
Yeah.
Goosebumps.
Yeah. Margaret Thatcher says, "You may have to fight a battle more than once to win it."
I like that one. Yeah. Totally, 100%.
Wait, can I interrupt real quick?
Sure.
I have a bunch of Clintisms, like little nuggets that Clint shares, but recently on this subject, he's like, "Dude, we're just tired of punching ourselves in the face." Anyway, carry on.
Oh, he's such a motivator.
I'm so tired of punching myself
No,
in the face.
it's so true though, right? That speaks volumes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add
Sorry
that
about the
to my list.
Clintisms. Yeah, it's one
Totally.
of the best ones for sure. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
No, that's all right. Okay. Helen Keller said, "Although the world is full of suffering, it is also full of overcoming it."
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Albert, oh my gosh, I'm not sure how to pronounce the last name. Albert Camus, maybe. "In the depth of winter, I finally learned that within me there lay an invincible summer."
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah,
deep.
it
Yeah.
is like that. That's sort of my life right there. Damn.
And then I got two more. Gregory S. Williams said, on the other side of a storm is the strength that comes from having navigated through it. Raise your
Hell
sail
yeah.
and begin.
Hell yeah.
Ooh, powerful. I like how that one has like a call to action. And so in alignment with everything we've been talking about. Yeah, no, thank you. Keep
Okay.
going.
Okay, and this is the last one. Mary Ann Radmacher says, courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is the quiet voice at the end of the day saying, I will try again tomorrow.
Dang.
Wow. That's powerful. That's beautiful.
It is. I mean, a little cherry-eyed.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for those. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Just little simple phrases just to inspire us. So beautiful. All right, brother, you ready to rock us out?
Yeah, this is a rough draft, but it's pretty symbolic of our discussion. So here we go. Started a new life. Started a new life yesterday. Left the country and drove away. Was lost, but now I'm found. Gracefully grounded, always down. It's hard to believe, but I'm still living and in the suburbs of the windy city. So smiling big time, always dancing exactly as I was meant to be. Indeed, I made it out, busted through, going to do what I came to. Live resilient, righteous, true. And if I can do it, so can you.
Oh, beautiful, man.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. There's so much hope there, right? Like, yeah, I love that. If I did it, so can you. Like, that's just, it's such a powerful. I think that's one thing that I love to live by is realizing that, look, anybody out there, if I can do this, if we can do this, so can you.
Totally, dude. And we're I mean, not to take anything away from you guys, because you guys are everything, but at the end of the day, we ain't shit, dude. You know what I'm saying? So
You
if
know
we
what?
can do what
But we're stronger together.
Yeah,
united we stand, united we stand, homies. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying.
100%, 100%. Well, thank you so much to both of you, and thank you to everybody listening. If you have any thoughts or feedback for us, please leave them in the comments. If you haven't dropped into the community, come see us at www.evolving-mindsets.com, and we're looking forward to meeting you there. We hope you have a great one, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Love y'all.
Love y'all.
Gonna find your path, gonna lead the way. Stride through the storm, never go astray. Always the truth and let your spirit roar. You're a force of nature, crash upon the shore.